It's time for Baby and Toddler Instructions with host Blythe Lipman. Blythe is a nationally renowned infant and toddler expert who has over 30 years' experience helping moms and dads regain their sanity, teaching them how to survive, and giving them the confidence they need to be the best parents ever. From sleeping to crying to potty training to choosing a preschool and so much more. If you're a parent, Baby and Toddler Instructions is the show you've been looking for. Now here's your host, Blythe Lipman.
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. How is everyone this morning? Hope you're all doing great. I am so happy you could tune in. It's going to be such a wonderful show. My guest is my publisher and author, Brenda Knight, who will be with us in just a bit. She did a terrific book called The Grateful Table. It's all about gratitude. You know, in this day and age, we have so many things to be grateful for. Even though we're all stressed and running around like crazy people, we still need to be grateful. So we'll talk to Brenda in just a little bit. But first, I have to tell you, I have a son-in-law that needs to get to Atlanta today, and I don't think he's going to make it. I am so sorry for everybody that has such terrible weather. I hope it clears up soon, and everybody please stay safe. Our weather is going to be in the high 70s today. Yippee! And I'm really excited. I love this time of year. As you know, I complain in the summer when it gets hot, but we have the Waste Management Golf Tournament here. What a terrible name, but good they sponsor it. It brings in hundreds of thousands of people, so I'm really happy for whoever is coming in here. I hope you're coming from someplace that's cold and you can enjoy our beautiful weather. Don't forget to put on your sunscreen, though. Do what I do. Put that sunscreen next to your toothbrush, and you know what? Try it. As soon as you brush your teeth, put your sunscreen on. So anyway, on that note, let me tell you there were recalls today, recalls this week, a bunch of them. First recall was the Horizon Hobby recalls the remote control model helicopters due to injury. The tail or rotor grip used for securing the tail rotor blade to the hub can separate and release the copter, posing a risk of crash and an injury. Yes, this is a toy, and I know your babies and toddlers don't play with this, but many times dads go out with their toddlers with these very cool remote control helicopters and airplanes. So if you have the Horizon Hobby, don't use it. And I will put the information on my website, babyinstructions.com, which is pretty much straightened out now. Also, the baby rattles were recalled by Midwest CBK. Said the head of the rattle can detach, posing a choking hazard to young children. Also, Playtex recalled those pacifier holder clips due to a choking hazard. The pacifier holders clips can crack and a small part can break off, which poses a choking hazard. I don't like passy clips. I really don't, but, you know, that's just personal. So anyway, if you have the Playtex passy holder clips, don't use those. And last but not least, Nationwide Industries recalls the Trident pull gate latches. It says the magnet can come loose. You know, many of those pool gates have magnet attachments, so the gate is closed. And I know, you know, most of us are not at the pool now. However, if you live in Arizona, call ArizonaChildProofers.com is their website. They do great things, especially keeping all of your homes safe. So on that note, those were the recalls. I will put them on my website, babyinstructions.com. And let's see, we have a couple things today. First, this was pretty interesting. There was a question in the New York Times that says, my capable nanny often brings me homemade desserts. Some are okay, others are abominable. I eat what I can, discreetly pitch the rest. I don't want to offend my children's caregiver, but I hate waste. Any ideas? And Social Cues, Philip, that writes this in the New York Times, it's in the style section, every Sunday paper. It's really pretty funny. He says he's got a million ideas, but not, you know, look your nanny straight in the eye, smile warmly, and thank her for the food and thoughtfulness, and then say, I'm really trying to cut down on sweets. Who could be offended by that? So this is pretty funny. I want to talk to my guest, Brenda, because her wonderful book, The Grateful Table, talks all about food and gratitude. So we'll have to talk about this one and see what she thinks about it. Also, there was another funny thing in the New York Times Magazine a couple weeks ago. It says you thought Apple was annoying. It talked about, from the Baby Center, the new names other than unusual than now choices of baby names. Kiwi and Duda for girls, Panda, Hurricane, and Chow for boys. I mean, come on, you know what? Were those really such a good idea, it says? Do you really want to name your son Hurricane or your daughter Duda? So I thought that was pretty funny. And let's see, my guest will be with us in just a second. I do have something else I wanted to share with you because we were talking about safety, as I do every week on the show. I don't know if you heard it or saw it, but there are new child car seat requirements for 2014. It says you feel pretty confident you figured out how to install your child's car seat. Well, be aware, the National Highway Safety Administration, NHTSA, it's going to take this new rule is going to take effect. It says if you're already a mom of a toddler, you probably heard of and use the child system called LATCH, which stands for Lower Anchors and Tethers for Children. And it's instead of threading the seatbelt through the bulky car seat, the seat is secured by latches that hook onto the tethers at the top and the bottom. Well, the Safety Administration for parents says not to use the lower anchors if children and their car seats have a combined weight of 65 pounds. For instance, if a child weighs 32 pounds and sits in a car seat that weighs 33 pounds, that's at the upper limits of the recommendations. Now, when you do buy your car seats, typical car seats weigh anywhere from 15 to 33 pounds, and it should say on the box. But I have to tell you, you can go to any fire station. They always have car seat safety checks. Again, you can call Arizona Child Proofers. They do car seat safety checks. Make sure somebody checks it. Some of those car seats are just so bulky. You want to make sure that they're in your car properly. And, especially check with them, too, because I know many times when your kids go to preschool, somebody else will pick them up, and you just transfer the car seat. So you want to make sure everybody knows how to get that car seat into the car the right way. You have to keep our children safe. I say it all the time. I know I'm a broken record, but it's so important. And no matter what you do, their toys, anything. Also, let's see what else we have. We're going to have a break in just a couple of minutes, and I want to share just 2 tips from Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions, because it's runny nose season, and the chapter on Will This Runny Nose Ever Stop? Here's a great tip. If they have chapped hands, take 2 clean white athletic socks, get out some markers, and let your toddler draw eyes and noses or whatever they want, and put a small amount of olive oil on their little one's hands, rub them together, and put those socks on. You can even have a puppet show. Also, another tip, toddlers love stickers. You can never have too many stickers. It's tough when they're sick, the runny nose doesn't stop, and, they go to preschool, you have to go to work. It's good to have stickers. It's good to have socks. Also, my kids always loved the instant oatmeal because they could help mix it if they were a toddler. For a baby, swaddle them if they're an older baby and they used to like to be swaddled and they're not running a high fever. Again, I'm not a medical show, but I used to do this with my kids. They always loved being cozied up in a warm blanket from the dryer. So if you have an older baby and you can't do stickers with them, obviously, or mix oatmeal, just swaddle them and do some cuddling. So that's from Help, My Toddler Came Without Instructions. And I have my other book, Help, My Baby Came Without Instructions. And we are going to have a break in a few seconds, and my wonderful publisher from Viva Editions, Brenda Knight, who also is an author of The Grateful Table, will be with us when we come back, and we're going to talk all about gratitude. And I can't wait to talk to Brenda. I just love her. So we'll be right back. Hang in there.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Are you ready to start rocking that woo-hoo that only you do? Because Lisa Stedman is on a mission. She will dare you, challenge you, enlighten you, provoke, and empower you to bring out that inner woo-hoo. Lisa is an internationally acclaimed best-selling author. She is a breakup expert, a brand consultant, CEO of Woohoo Inc. and the Woohoo Radio Network. She will show you how to take your boo-hoo and turn it into woo-hoo. Get rebellious and get real. Get your dreams off the back burner. Get inspired and motivated to take action. Start rocking that woohoo that only you do in love, life, and business. She is going to be here for you every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
Are you happy with your life? Satisfied with the direction you're taking? More importantly, are you content with the results you're seeing? Then Success Profiles Radio is the program for you. Join host Brenda K. Wright as he talks to experts in many areas relating to life success, including expertise in leadership, business, relationships, careers, networking, health, overcoming adversity, and much more. Each week, we'll explore different aspects of success and how to apply them to your life. For more on Brian and the show, check out his website, briankwright.com. Each week is a dose of inspiration. So many people live their lives wanting more than they currently have. Success Profiles Radio is a show that will clearly demonstrate the principle, if I can do it, you can do it. So don't miss this opportunity to take control of your life and your results. Success Profiles Radio with Brenda K. Wright, Mondays at 5 p.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network. Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I want to tell you about my guest this week. I'm so excited I didn't have time to introduce her. I had so much to tell you during the first segment. Brenda Knight is a publisher and editor. My publisher, yay! And she writes about women's history and issues affecting women's lives today. She's the author of She Rose, The Poetry Oracle, Wild Women in Books, and the American Book Award-winning Women of the Beat Generation. She also does volunteer work with women newly diagnosed with breast cancer. Brenda believes everyone does have the inalienable right to the pursuit of happiness and lives in one of the happiest places on earth, the San Francisco Bay Area. And all I can think about is chocolate when I think of San Francisco, like we all do. Brenda, good morning. Thank you for being on the show.
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here.
I have to tell you, I absolutely love your book. It's sitting here, and unfortunately, I put a lot of pages down. I tried to use bookmarks, but there were so many different places that I wanted to remember. And, it's funny because you've been my publisher, gosh, how long, 4 years?
Yeah.
And I never knew all these wonderful things about you and your background.
Oh, well, I'm glad you finally found out. But, yeah, I guess I've been keeping a low profile, Blythe.
So tell my listeners about your background. I mean, your introduction is just so interesting about all your family members and meal times and growing your own food. And, tell my listeners about that and what it was like.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of where I come from, which is West Virginia, and I grew up on a farm and lived on a dirt road, as they say in West Virginia, Blythe. And, as a kid, I have to say that I was sort of like, oh, my God, why can't we live on a paved street like everyone else? But, as I grew up, I started to really treasure the fact that I got to live in nature and got to have animal friends and learned about gardening from aunts and uncles and I was had my own garden patch and was growing lots of flowers and doing some really advanced gardening even by the time I was 6. And I realized that that's just a little bit older than a toddler, right? And I don't know if you know that many 6-year-olds that are doing growing their own food and vegetables, but it's just that I got to learn from my family, and I still am a big gardener, even though I live here in El Cerrito in the San Francisco Bay Guardian. And so I loved growing up in the farm, but also, when I got out of college and everything, I figured, I better go somewhere where there's a better economy. And I had no idea that I would end up in publishing. I just loved to read. I would always have, if I wasn't outside, I would have my nose in a book. And so, I feel very grateful, pun unintended, that I'm here talking to you and that you're one of my authors and that I get to, I come to work every day and I love my job because I get to help authors help people, like you do every day.
And we all love to help everybody. I mean, Nina wrote you a wonderful foreword, and I'm looking at your introduction, and it says we all need to be grateful for things, and we're all so busy that sometimes we don't just stop. And I love to open your book up every day and see what it says, because you have so many different people that contributed and so many different quotes. I just love it. But in the introduction where you say that you have pride that your family did a lot of inner work and you're fairly accomplished, that your Aunt Stella was a great dancer and made lace that the Etsy crowd would go crazy for. And about your Uncle Wilbur.
It's true. I mean, I think because maybe this is true of like rural folk, like we were, in the farm in West Virginia, and so like the neighboring farms, like my aunts and uncles, they were sort of scattered about, and in some cases they were in the farm across the road, and then the farm down the road, and so they were always around, and they would bring like a bushel of corn or tomatoes that they had too many, and they were just bringing them. And of course, like we could certainly use that because I was the youngest of 3 kids, 3 daughters. Lucky, my mom and dad were lucky. They got 3 daughters, no sons, even though I guess a son might have really helped on the farm. And so my especially it was like my great aunts and great uncles. They were the uncles of my mom and dad, and like so they really had a lot of wisdom to share, and they did. They would. That's how I learned to garden. That's how I learned. Last night I was listening to Jeopardy, and they had like a biblical set of questions, about 20 questions from the Bible, and I knew all of them, and I was laughing to myself thinking, wow, I'm glad I paid attention when my Uncle Wilbur was talking. So I learned so much from my great aunts and great uncles, and especially about how to be grateful when you don't have a lot. And Blythe, it's a tough economy. I mean, I hope it turns around, but it seems like we're, that we just live in a time where it's not that easy. You have to work harder. Wouldn't you say that's true? You have to work harder to stay even?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think we work all the time, and the hard part is figuring out how to put balance in play, but the gratefulness. I did my little video this week, and I put, I love to eat, do you? And we all love to eat, but how many of us actually sit down and think about where the food comes from and how grateful we are? Yes, it's really easy, in a big city to go grab whatever you want and, eat it, and a lot of people eat at their desk. And I'll tell you what, it really, looking at your book and reading every morning out of your book, it really makes me stop and think, because I'm a foodie. I wrote 2 cookbooks. I love to cook, and I love to eat. And to really stop and think, because I think our world is going in a different direction with gratitude and the way we're eating. What do you think?
I agree. Definitely, I think that like gratitude has been a topic on people's, from the table, like the grateful table, where you sit down and say grace and express gratitude for the food you're going to eat and what you have in your life. And I've really been tracking gratitude since the 90s, which seems like a long time, but I think for me, it was when I went back to the farm in West Virginia for Christmas holiday with my mom and family, and that's the only time that I can like watch TV during the day, right? Because I work during the day. I'm editing and publishing and acquiring books, And so I watched Oprah with my mom, and this was like probably like 1998 or 1999, and she was talking about keeping a gratitude journal. And I remember thinking, well, that's a good idea. And so I started doing it, and then just by keeping a gratitude journal and writing down quotes and what I was grateful for every day and all that, it made me just sort of more aware of the idea of being grateful for what you have instead of focusing on what you didn't have. So I acquired a book called Attitudes of Gratitude back then, which sold over 600,000 copies, which was really great and had some good gratitude quotes in it. And so it just became like more of a thing that I started thinking about. And then when I founded Viva Editions, of which you are one of our top authors, I acquired a book called Living Life as a Thank You by Nina Lesowitz, whom you mentioned, and she wrote the foreword to The Grateful Table. And that book has sold like 80,000 copies. I think that gratitude is just a touchstone. People think about it, and I think that's a wonderful thing because it seems really easy, but it can turn your life around. Like, yesterday in the afternoon, I got some news that was hard to hear from back home, not health-wise, but just difficulty with aging relatives, and so I was feeling kind of sad and like concerned and things like that. And then, this is kind of funny, but I picked up my book so that I could prepare for the show with you this morning, and it immediately turned me right around because I took my own advice in the book, and I just took a moment and I thought, what am I grateful for right now? And I realized I'm grateful to have a job. I'm grateful to have the kind of work I do where I feel like by publishing authors like you, Blythe, I'm making it a better world. And then I'm grateful that I actually, have the resources that I can help back home. And so I just realized well, I'm going to go home tonight, write a check, Federal Express it, and I'm so happy that I can help my family.
That's great. That's pretty interesting too that you're saying that, because I was preparing for your show as well. And I had a couple nights where I didn't sleep well, and I was kind of grumpy, and I was tired, and I was thinking to myself, oh, gosh, I just feel awful today. And I really stopped, excuse me, when I was preparing, and I started reading through your book thinking, wait a minute, I'm so excited. I can have my publisher on my show, and I can have a radio show, and, so many things. It's true. It does turn you around.
It does, and I'm very grateful that it finally rained this morning because, usually in December, even November and December and January, the San Francisco Bay Area gets a lot of rain, even to the point where you're like, please, can it stop raining? It's been raining every minute for 5 days, and I'm getting tired of it. But boy, no rain, and it was dry, and they declared a drought. And so I woke up this morning, and it had rained, and I was just so grateful for that simple thing.
Yay! You know what? Because you do need rain. We need rain here in Arizona too. Well, we're going to have a break in just a little bit, and I want to tell my listeners, call us at 877-864-4869 and tell us what you're grateful for. We'd love to have a caller. So 877-864-4869, and we're going to have a break. And when we come back, we were going to talk more to Brenda Knight, the author of The Grateful Table, Blessings, Prayers, and Graces for the Daily Meal, and my publisher. Yay! So much fun to have you on the show. We will be right back. Here comes the music.
We'll be right back with more help. For help, my baby came without instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Baby love, my baby love, I need you, oh, I need you.
Are you happy with your life? Satisfied with the direction you're taking? More importantly, are you content with the results you're seeing? Then Success Profiles Radio is the program for you. Join host Brenda K. Wright as he talks to experts in many areas relating to life success, including expertise in leadership, business, relationships, careers, networking, health, overcoming adversity, and much more. Each week, we'll explore different aspects of success and how to apply them to your life. For more on Brian and the show, check out his website, briankright.com. Each week is a dose of inspiration. So many people live their lives wanting more than they currently have. Success Profiles Radio is a show that will clearly demonstrate the principle, if I can do it, you can do it. So don't miss this opportunity to take control of your life and your results. Success Profiles Radio with Brenda K. Wright, Mondays at 5 p.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network. Are you the kind of parent who just wants their kids to live the life of their dreams? Well, grab your kids and join How to Raise a Millionaire Radio with Ann Morgan James and Jack James. It's a lively interview and call-in show, Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network. This dynamic mother and son team are on a mission. They want to empower kids to dream big and go after those dreams with gusto. They want to fill the world with kid entrepreneurs. Are your kids ready for success? Don't miss their fun antics, lively guests, and discussions. For more on Ann and Jack and their show, check out their website, howtoraiseamillionaire.com. Then join the conversation of lively interviews and call-ins. And let's give our kids the tools and encouragements they need to build a future they can bank on, no matter what the economy throws their way. It's How to Raise a Millionaire Radio with Ann Morgan James and Jack James, Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network. Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back. I'm here with my wonderful guest, Brenda Knight, my publisher and the author of The Grateful Table. It says, pausing to appreciate whatever our individual troubles and challenges may be, it's important to pause every now and then to appreciate all that we have on every level. We need to literally count our blessings, give thanks for them, allow ourselves to enjoy them, and relish the experience of prosperity we already have. By Shakti Gawain. Brenda's book goes by the dates. You open it and you just read every day, or you don't have to read, by the date. I just love this gratitude book. I keep saying it, and everybody should buy this book because it will make you happy. And we all have these bad days. It's funny, I had pulled something from Babbel.com a long time ago, written by Lauren Hartman. It's 8 things I didn't get about parents until I became a mom. And it just makes me laugh because when you're a parent, you're so grateful to be a parent. And when you're having one of those hard days where you want to pull your hair out, pick up Brenda's book. But one of the things it said on here that's so funny, what she didn't get until she became a mom was she didn't understand the parents at a restaurant. And another one was how parents wipe bodily fluids with their hands. So being a parent is really eye-opening. And, we talk about gratitude, and I don't think it's ever too early to start. Just, at the table, when we serve food, or even when we feed our kids baby food. Brenda, what do you think?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And, of course, that's how I learned about being grateful, was because every day, at the dinner table, my family said grace. I mean, usually, it was a classic Christian prayer or, a biblical quote or something like that. Occasionally it was just like, grateful we got through that storm and everything's okay and the farm is not damaged. But, that was modeled, that wonderful behavior of saying grace and expressing gratitude was modeled for me from the time I was a baby. And so here I am, decades later, and still practicing gratitude on a daily basis.
So here's another question. Tell me what you think. I think gratitude for food, gratitude for everything is important, but what do you think about sitting around the table? I know I have been at many functions, and they're not gigantic, and we've gone to people's houses for dinner, and sometimes before they eat, they'll hold hands and say a prayer. And, I always wonder about this because I didn't grow up with this. I am certainly not judging it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and it's very nice to be grateful. But what do you think about in social settings?
Well, my great hope is that, like, maybe the Grateful Table will encourage people to not wait until Thanksgiving Day. I mean, giving thanks shouldn't be one day of a year; it should be every day. But you should let people know and like make them really comfortable. I have been to Thanksgivings, and I've been to I've been a guest at dinner tables, and I've definitely witnessed where there was like sort of no warning, and like the host or hostess said, "Now hold hands," and like that kind of physical contact can be kind of alarming for people, especially with no notice. So I think it would be nice, like if you have the time when you're issuing the invitation, whether it be an Evite, an invitation through the mail, or like a phone call or in person, just say, just so you know, we have a little custom at our house, and when we have a meal, we like to sort of hold hands at the beginning and express our gratitude, and then I think just that will let people know what to expect instead of like, boom, I'm supposed to hold hands with this, person I've never met before. So I think just a little bit of keying people in and giving them a clue as to what will happen will not only prepare them to know what to expect, but it might even give people an opportunity to think about what they want to say and how they want to express their gratitude. So I think just a little bit of consideration can go a long way, even in the gratitude department.
I think that's a great tip because I have to say, if you don't know, it is a little surprising, but then I'll tell you what, if it's with strangers, what a great icebreaker, because you're all on the same page and you're all feeling grateful, and then you eat this delicious meal. I mean, my children would always get so, I don't think they really got angry, but every Thanksgiving, I made everybody go around the table, and we used to have giant Thanksgivings with people, my children would bring home that we didn't know and didn't have a place to go, and everybody had to say why they were thankful. And the kids would go, "Oh, Mom," but, it was really nice, and especially, when they were in college and they'd bring home some kids from college that didn't have family, and yes, it may put you on the spot, but you stop for a minute and go, yeah, I really do have a lot of things. So in your book, you have so many great people. Do you have a favorite quote, and how did you get all these wonderful quotes? Like Alicia Keys on the back of your book, "Good food is an amazing blessing. Whenever you sit down at a table, eat food that's extremely delicious, and are surrounded by people you love, it's, wow, life is good." I mean, that's so true. I want to sing it.
Right. Well, that's one of the advantages, I guess, of being a publisher and editor and working in publishing for 20 years is, like, I'm pretty good at knowing how to get permissions from people, and that was fun. It was a lot of work, though, and I wanted it to be as diverse as possible. Some people have really expressed surprise that there's writers like Dave Eggers and like pop stars and even rappers like Kanye West, but like some of my favorites are those really unexpected people. I mean, of course, in a book of graces and blessings, you imagine there's going to be like, some Christian prayers, a little bit of biblical action, and some of the world's wisdom traditions, but you maybe aren't going to expect, like, Tupac is going to be in there, but he is. It's one of my favorites. And so I do love the Alicia Keys so much that I put it on the back of the book. But one of my favorite ones is Daphne Rose Kingma. It's so simple and so elegant and so beautiful, Blythe. She simply says, saying thank you brings more love into the world. And that is the whole point of the book, and the whole point of, the practice of gratitude is that expressing thankfulness just brings more love into this world.
And it's so true, because if you watch when you're outside, it amazes me how many times I'll see somebody not hold a door open, or somebody hold a door open for you, and nobody says thank you. Or you let somebody, go in front of you in the car, and they don't even wave. It's like, you're supposed to do that. And I don't know, I'm one to open doors, and I'm one to let people in front of me. It's an extra 2 seconds. And I think, and I'll sit in my car and go, you're welcome, because I think, it's the little niceties that make it wonderful for all of us. Like during the holidays, so many people paid it forward, and at Starbucks, your coffee was paid for by the person in front of you. I thought that was terrific. And
that's random acts of kindness, Blythe,
yeah.
and you probably had no idea that I worked on the Random Acts of Kindness book series.
No, I didn't. I mean, and
yes.
This is all so important, and I have to tell you, I'm really excited about this quote, which is in June, that says, should you shield the canyons from the windstorms, you would never see the true beauty of their carvings. And that's Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And I have to tell you, Elizabeth was my friend. And that is so pertinent to Elizabeth because she lived in Scottsdale, and she actually had a teepee on her property. She passed away, but she did wonderful work with hospice and all her wonderful work since the 70s. And she was quite a character, and this sounds so much like her. And I remember I visited her many times, and one time we went out to this teepee, and it was amazing because who has a teepee on their property? So I was really thrilled to see a quote from her in your book.
Wonderful.
She was something.
I would imagine. I mean, that's pretty major. I'm just processing like that because like she changed the way people view the end of life, right?
Oh, yeah. Her first book on death and dying.
Right.
Was just amazing. So I want to ask you a question because we're talking about gratitude, and I don't know if you heard my little piece that I shared from the New York Times about the nanny giving the mom the treats, and she didn't want them. I mean, it's interesting, the answer was, say thank you, but I'm trying to cut down on sweets. What do you think? Would you be offended if you gave somebody something and then they said no thank you in that way?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like I've had that happen, but I think I erased it from my mind because it was unpleasant. I think that you have to all of us, or maybe I'll speak for myself, you want to judge because it seems pretty hoity-toity and snobby, right?
Right.
But I think that part of living the grateful life and is to just say okay, that's not personal to me. That's who she is. She's not in a place where she feels like she can accept that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, focus on people that can accept me and accept the gift that I am and the gifts that I give. That is a lesson that I've learned as I call it aging and saging, but getting older in life, is that sometimes you have relationships in your life that take a lot of work, and at a certain point you're like, is this worth it? Why don't I spend more time and love and energy with the people that treat me really well? And so I think that I would just let that be a reminder that spend your time, love, energy, gifts, and the gift that you are as a person with people that can receive it and reciprocate and give back.
That's such a good tip, and I will tell you because you're a lot younger than me, and as you do get older, you look at some of the relationships and say, you know what, this doesn't feel good. I want to walk away saying, I love spending time with this person. And it's really interesting. I bake a lot, and I give cookies and cakes. I love to bake to everybody. And my feeling is take it to the office or dump it in the trash. And, a couple of times people have made a comment to me, and I thought, well, I'm not giving you anything anymore. Where's the gratitude? Say, thank you, this is great. Maybe my kids will like it. So you're absolutely right. We're all different. We're all different, and we change, and life is changing, and we're going to break for commercial, so we're going to have to leave. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Hang in there.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
The Woohoo Radio Network presents the Diva Download with Tracy and Tasha. If you think Diva is all about attitude and drama, think again. The Diva Download is the premier online radio program where girls of all ages, shapes, sizes, and colors get together to redefine what it means to be a diva so that all girls can discover their inner diva and develop a healthy sense of self-worth and self-esteem. Being a true diva means you're diverse, involved, value-driven, and active. That's today's diva. If you want to celebrate the girl in your life through education, encouragement, empowerment, and entertainment, join us every week on Tuesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and celebrate the essence of being a girl only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
Second chances. We all deserve them, and we are all worthy of them. Second Chances with your host, Midge Noble. Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central on TogiNet is like coming home to warm, fresh-baked cookies, a hug from Grandma, or an enthusiastic greeting from your dog. Second Chances, hosted by Midge Noble, a licensed professional counselor, is affirming, warm, genuine, validating, and thought-provoking. Second Chances is a place to be heard, a place to laugh, a place to cry, and a place to be seen. For more on Midge and Second Chances, check out MidgeNobleSecondChances.com. Then be a part of a show that will change how you think, how you feel, and what you do. Give yourself the gift of second chances and see where it will take you. So take a deep breath, open your heart, open your mind, and join host Midge Noble for Second Chances, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back. I cannot believe we're up to the last part of the show. I am here with my wonderful guest and publisher, Brenda Knight, who wrote a book called The Grateful Table, Blessings, Prayers, and Graces for the Daily Meal. And we've been talking all about gratitude. You know, it's such an important thing, and I really think that a lot of us are changing, and a lot of us talk about gratitude. Brenda, what do you think? I see a difference.
I do see a difference. I'm glad that this world is becoming a more grateful place, because certainly, like, one of the things I've noticed is that, people need. A lot of people seem like they've been raised by wolves. I know it's not your listeners, and I know it's not the readers of, like, Help My Baby Didn't Come With Instructions and Help My Toddler Didn't Come With Instructions, but people really need to be reminded of, like, just basic good manners. And so, like, being reminded to say thank you has never been more important than it is in 2014. So I think it comes down to values, so, like, and how you treat people. And so I'm excited that I think we're entering into a time where there's more awareness and consciousness of being a grateful person. So,
it's true, and I'm really happy to see the changes as well. But what do you think when you do something for somebody and they're a stranger, hold the door open or whatever, do you think it's okay to say, you're welcome? What do you think, or you mind your own business?
Well, I think good, always take the good manners high road, and I guess it must have been one of my, like, elderly aunts or something that said, like, good manners, because living on a farm and growing up, like, kind of poor and everything, like, you sometimes sort of think, like, oh, I'm not comfortable in this social situation, or this is too fancy for me. And my Aunt Stella, the one that was a good dancer and made wonderful lace, she said, good manners will get you through any situation. She said, if you have good manners, you could go to Queen Elizabeth and, and get through it nicely. That's all that's needed. So whatever the situation is, if somebody holds the door open for you, say thank you and say you're welcome. That's my advice that I learned from Stella.
Well, that's great advice. So tell me about Polly Campbell, who I would love to have on my show. Tell my listeners about her.
She wrote a book called Imperfect Spirituality, which we published about a year and a half ago, and it did wonderfully well. And, of course, by the title alone, you're thinking it's just a real spiritual, intensive book. But Polly is this warm, funny, wise person, and she talks about like how having a child, especially when the child became a toddler and started doing things like stuffing raisins up her nose, like caused her to have these aha moments where she really got more in touch with her spirituality by being a mother. And so she talks a lot about that in Imperfect Spirituality. And she has this just very real tone to her writing. When you're reading, like, you could be halfway across the world, and we have sold rights to her book in like Germany and Brazil. And you could be halfway across the world, but you feel like Polly is right there talking to you as your best friend. And so I sprinkled 2 or 3 Polly Campbell quotes into the Grateful Table, and I'd love to share one.
Oh, please do, because I'm looking at them. They're all over, and they're great.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Well, I think one of them is on page 50 in the Grateful Table, and it's March 26th, Origins of Abundance. Within the context of everything you do, pause. Really slow down and say thank you. Look the checker in the eye, and she means at the grocery store. Take a breath and say thank you, which is sort of funny. I had no idea that was what we were going to be talking about right before I read this quote. Pause before a meal and give thanks to the farmers and the earth and the animals or the Coca-Cola distributor who brought the food to your table. Say thank you.
Wow, how pertinent is that? Just what we were talking about. And it takes 2 seconds to say thank you. And you'll see, say thank you, and I have to add to it, smile. A smile is worth so much. A grumpy thank you doesn't do much, but a happy thank you, I love that quote. So because time is getting away from us, I want you to tell my listeners about Boss.
Yes. So when you're grateful, you also sort of think about generosity too. And so I think gratitude and giving go hand in hand. And after I put this together, and I have to say, obviously, I was brimming with gratitude, after putting the Grateful Table together. And I felt like there was one missing piece, and I sort of pondered it and meditated upon it. And I realized I want somebody to benefit. I want to give. I want to give from this place of thankfulness. So they're called BOSS, B-O-S-S, Building Opportunities for Self-Sufficiency. They're 5 blocks away from the Viva Editions office in Berkeley, and they work directly with at-risk youth, moms with young children that need help. And my favorite thing is that they give them the tools to be, to help themselves. Like they give them job training, help them with their resumes, give them clothes for job interviews. And I think that's a thing that I really also want people to remember in addition to being grateful is remember to give. Be thankful for what you have and share it.
That's so important, too. And I think sometimes, we always get people calling us, especially around the holidays, asking. And sometimes people think they have to give a lot because, we have lots of wealthy people in our world that do give a lot and they can afford it. But, anything you give helps. And it doesn't have to be $5 million. You know what? It could be your children's clothes that they outgrew. There are people that don't have socks or shoes or any of that. And I think sometimes we lose sight that it has to be something big. Everything little is big, in my book anyway.
That is correct. And if we have like one more minute to share, I was talking to my boyfriend last night on the phone, and I said that I felt so happy about like the reception to the Grateful Table from nice people like you and your listeners, that I want to start a whole little line with Viva Editions called Books That Give Back. where every single one, like a portion of the profits, go to something like Boss that's helping people, and I'm actually giving half of the royalties to the Grateful Table to Boss. So I'm real excited. I have no idea what my royalty check will be. It might be $10, it might be $100, but whatever it is, I'm going to march over to Boss with it proudly and give it to them. And my real hope is that it goes right into the pockets of a young mom and her kids, and that she is able to give them a good life, and then they can turn around and give back too.
You know what? I think that's wonderful. And again, you give what you can give. You know, whatever works for you. I give a lot of my time away. I give a lot of workshops, and you know, I love helping new parents, and I've done that for years. But I volunteer at the Mary Magdalene House and the Jonathan House here, which is for unwed pregnant moms, and they've kind of gotten off the beaten track, and they could have taken drugs or whatever it is, and they let these moms stay at the houses for 6 months after they have the baby, and they get them into programs, and they give them clothes, and they teach them how to go to a job interview, and they have chores. And it's a wonderful, wonderful organization, and I love going in there, showing them how to take care of their babies and how to not be afraid when the baby does something. So, you know, again, giving back, whatever works. It doesn't have to be money. It can be money, whatever works for anybody. There's no right or wrong.
One time I was driving to a little tea party with my girlfriends at my girlfriend's house, and I got stuck in traffic, and I was in a rush, but I tried to calm myself down and say, good Lord, it's just a tea party with your girlfriends. Like, they're not going to be mad if you're 5 minutes late. And there was a woman standing with her toddler, and she had a black eye, and I thought, something happened to her, and she's on the run. And I saw the look in her little boy's eyes, and I could tell he was thinking, like, what's going on? What's wrong with Mommy? And I had these very fancy cookies that I'd bought from Pete's Coffee and Tea, like they have chocolate icing on one side and white icing on the other. I mean, I'd spent like $20 on these cookies. I took them, I handed them to the mom, I said, blessings to you, and I drove away.
Oh, my God, you're giving me the chills. What a wonderful thing. Well, Brenda, what a great way to end the show, to talk about giving back. So tell my listeners where they can find your book and you, and if they want to give or be part of Boss.
Absolutely. Well, good old Amazon.com is maybe the easiest place. You can also go to www.vivaeditions.com, where you can get the Grateful Table and Blythe's Help My Toddler and Baby books. Yay. And they're also like at Barnes & Noble and even gift stores, too.
Well, thank you so much for being my guest. You're a terrific guest. I want you to come back again, and we can talk about gratitude some more, because I am so grateful to you to be my publisher and my friend and be on the show. So thank you, and you have a great rest of your day.
You too, and I'm very grateful for you, Blythe, and all that you do.
Oh, thank you. Well, take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Okay, bye.
Wow, what a great show, and I really am grateful for so many things, for my show, for my guests, for all of you, my listeners, and I could go on and on, but let's talk about next week's show. Next week, my guest will be Michael Gardner, and he is from, I can't remember his company. Anyway, he's from doTERRA, that's right. He's from doTERRA Essential Oils, and we're going to talk about all the wonderful things that these oils can do and how they can help ear infections. And, he's going to be a great guest. I can't wait to talk to Michael next week. Also, it's going to be an eye-opening show. Don't forget to go to Facebook, Twitter. I have a new page on Facebook called My Best Parenting Advice, so go like me on there. I put all kinds of advice on there, and I'm working on my new website, mybestparentingadvice.com. I will keep you posted. So I want to leave you with these great little gems. People who hold the door open for you when you're still 20 yards away force you into a wonderfully awkward jog of gratitude. And it's not happy people that are thankful. It's thankful people that are happy. Isn't that true? So be thankful, be grateful. Take time each day to just enjoy what you have. Even when you're having a bad day, sit down and be grateful because there's always something good in every day. So thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.